Hey everybody. So, I know I put this off way too long. This is my Hershey video and my Hershey story. I really don't know where to start. I guess I'm going to start with last year because I've only been grooming for just a little bit over a year. I originally opened up my shop as a do-it-yourself dog wash. For those of you that did not know, I guess I'll tell you the backstory. So I used to be a high school English teacher. I had some medical stuff happen to me, and it took me out of the teaching game. I was a teacher for 17 years. I was a really good teacher. I taught almost 3,000 students and got a lot of kids into college, helped a lot of kids, and loved every minute of it. Yeah, this will be emotional. I didn't think it would be. So leaving teaching was really hard, and I didn't know what I was going to do with myself after that. After I left teaching in 2015, I had to have another surgery, which was actually like my 14th since 2007 because of this thing that happened to me. And that surgery like changed things for me. I was finally like in a healthier physical space, but I needed a dog to help me with some things. And I had a shepherd when I was younger, always loved the breed. And I had about a year prior to getting Ruby, I had a Jack Russell, little Jack Russell, pain in the ass, but awesome dog, awesome. He lived to 14. And so I waited until I had grieved him before I decided to get another dog. And then when I needed another dog, I found that I wanted a shepherd. I needed to train to be a service dog for me to help me out with some certain things. And so I was looking for a shepherd. And there was a male who was beautiful at our local shelter. But even though I've always been good with dogs and I've always been able to train them, I've always had, that ability to connect with them and to train them. She wouldn't let me take him because she said he ate cats for breakfast and I had 2 cats. I told her I could work through that because he was majestic. He was gorgeous. He was very well trained. He healed to me immediately. Like, she just wouldn't do it. So I guess that he wasn't my dog because I think our dogs find us. So my friends on Facebook knew that I was looking for a shepherd, and one of my friends, Tanya, who I went to high school with, she reached out and said somebody had posted about rehoming a German shepherd. And sorry, I'm nervous, so dry mouth. She sent me the link, and I contacted the people. They came over, and they had said that the wife was having shoulder surgery and couldn't keep the dog, which didn't really make sense to me because when they came, I mean, the husband was big and they had older children, and Ruby was 7 months old. That was not her name at the time, but I don't like to say her name because it just brings back the memories of those people in that first visit when they brought her. So they bring her over, and this woman was really loud. And I'm loud because I'm Italian, but she was loud in a different way. Shepherds really don't do well with loud. And this is my experience anyway. So all she wanted to do was kind of sell me the dog. Like, all she wanted to do was show me that Ruby could give paw in Spanish. And I wanted to see her around my children. I wanted to see her around the cats. I wanted to see her around my house. And I swear to you, like, she was like asking, Ruby to perform over and over again with these commands in Spanish. And like the 10th time or something like that, she asks Ruby to give paw. Ruby didn't do it. And that woman reached back full strength and whacked that puppy so hard. She slid across the wood floor in my living room and pissed herself and immediately went into defensive mode. Well, my kids were there, and my Italian went up 100%. So I was instantly, that was my dog. And I told her that, get the fuck out of my house. And she was AKC. And I said, where are her papers? And she said, in the Jeep. I said, put them in the driveway as you leave. She walked out of my house, and I threw some money at her, made her scramble to pick it up. And she dropped the papers. I said, you do understand this is my dog now? And she said, yes, because I was not having any of what had happened. So that a little bit later that evening, I posted on Facebook, welcome to the family, a picture of Ruby. And one of my friends reached out to me and said, you know what? She looks just like my best friend's family who just had a litter of German Shepherds, and the mom looks just like her. And she said, do you have the papers? I said, yeah. So I went out to the driveway to get them, and sure enough, wouldn't you know it, that my friend's best friend knew Ruby's breeder. And so immediately I called her and I said, I have one of your pups and it's been abused. Where's your vet? So the next day I took Ruby to the vet. The vet did 100% confirm that Ruby had been badly beaten, badly abused. She was in a very aggressive state. And so I called the police and I called, animal control, and they went out and investigated, and those people are no longer allowed to have animals. And where I live, they check up on it. So as far as I know, they don't have any more animals. And so Ruby was mine. And after what she had been through and everything that I had been through, I knew that I was going to try and give her the best life possible. So I started making her a raw diet after doing a bunch of research about kibble and things like that. I started making her own treats. And at the time, I was back to bartending, which I had done right out of high school. I didn't go to college to be a teacher until 6 years after high school, as I barely passed high school. So that's another story. But I guess, well, you kind of need to know, I guess. But yeah, so I didn't go back to college until 6 years after high school. I got a full scholarship, became a teacher. But when I couldn't teach anymore, I went back to bartending, which I had done right out of high school, bartending, waitressing. And I was actually a singer in Nashville for a little over a year before I went back to college. And that was fun. And amazing, amazing year. So I was bartending and, doing all right. And because it was at the casino, Foxwoods. But I went one day to give Ruby a bath, so I went to one of the local chains, Pet Value. Yeah, I'm not afraid to say it. I went to Pet Value, and they have the do-it-yourself dog wash there. And so I bring Ruby in, and inside the tub is still hair from the last dog, nail clippings, and as a groomer now, that's my least favorite thing to be cleaning up is nail clippings. I don't know why, but that is nasty to me. I don't like the way they feel. So there were nail clippings in the tub, and I looked at the towels, and there were like knots of hair all in the towels, and I was like, no way. And I had this when you see those signs that, they go across, or like on the bottom of something, and it said, I can do better than this. And that was it. I was just inspired. I started researching do-it-yourself dog washes, and I figured what a great retirement. I had retired from disability as a teacher, needed something else to do. The demands of bartending were beginning to take its toll on me physically. I developed carpal tunnel syndrome, and that was bad. It was both hands, and this is before grooming. So anyway, I find a perfect place on the corner of one of the last untouched state parks on the water here in Connecticut, and I did some research, and I sat there and counted dogs, for a couple of weekends. Hundreds of dogs going in and out all week. So on the corner of the entrance into that park, there was a dilapidated building. So I said, well, that's the place I need. So I found out who owned it, and I contacted them. And the day that I contacted him, he said, it's crazy. We just had a meeting as a family last night. They own a lot of property in the area. One of the foundational builders and developers in the area, great family, the Ackleys. Shout out to Bob Ackley, because he's like the dad I never had. You know, well, my dad is good, don't get me wrong, but he's just like another father figure to me. That's what I mean. No disrespect to my dad whatsoever, because he kicks ass. He's amazing. But he's just like a father figure too, just closer to me physically in distance. All right. So anyway, he said, we just had a family meeting about it last night, and we decided we weren't going to tear it down. We were going to build it. What do you want to do? So I developed a business plan, and I sat and met with him, and he said, okay. I met with the family, love it, we're going to build. So literally that place had like 2 inches of mold. It had been closed for 13 years, right? 13 years. Roof was caved in, black mold everywhere. They tore that thing down and rebuilt it for me to open my business. And so it was intentionally going to be, brings us to our present, right? Intentionally going to be a do-it-yourself dog wash. I was going to have four stations, which I did. I had the Bathmaster, you know, with it integrates the water and the shampoo together. I set up dryers in each bay. I did a lot of research, and I'm right on the corner. So I start advertising, and also advertising. I was making my own line of raw dog food and all my own treats. So everything was all natural, and I had a little retail section in there, and I decided that every product that I would sell would be all natural. And that I thought it'd be great. I'd be sitting back behind the desk where people are washing their dogs, and I'd clean up after them, and that'd be a good retirement, right? Well, nobody wanted to wash their own dog. They would rather like run them under the hose down at the beach, under the faucet, throw them in the truck and go home. And then when I opened, they didn't want to wash their dogs, like I said. They asked me if I'd do it. So what are you going to do? You're going to close, or you're going to make money, right? So I start bathing dogs. And I did like a flat fee and did that for a while. And then I had a client come in, and she said, will you groom my dog? Well, here's the thing. Literally 3 doors down is a grooming salon that had been open for 1.5 years. It was not my intention to groom ever. It was not my intention to take her business, though I knew I would be taking some of her bathing business. I wanted more to, you know, focus on the bathing, but also the food and the cookies and the retail section. So, you know, it is what it is. There's plenty of dogs in this area. In my town alone, there's like, in the town where my business is, there's like, and these are just the ones that are registered, there's like 6,000, okay? Plenty of dogs to go around. So I would send them to her. I'd refer everyone to her for grooming. And one of my clients said, no, I don't like her. And I like how you are with dogs. And that's what everybody had kept saying, was that they liked the energy that I had with their dogs. And the most difficult to handle dogs, like for nails, everybody started to notice that I could handle that I could handle them. The ones that were the most difficult, like dogs that would rip your throat out. You know, I'd work with them until I could do their nails. And so that's how the foundation started. And then I was asked to groom this Westie. And I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never groomed a dog before. And she said, well, if you want to try, I'd like you to try, because I trust you. That's an honor. So, my God, I've already been talking 13 minutes. I'm not even into my Hershey story. What the hell am I going to do? Maybe I'll make this my video about me, like getting to know me. So, we'll see. So anyway, I study for a week. I study Jay Scruggs and Sue Zecco. I go online. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because my business is going to fail if I don't. Because how far am I going to get washing dogs, right? And so she came in, and I did it. I told her I was going to do it for free. As I posted on my Instagram story, I was certain I was going to kill that dog, I swear. I didn't even have any of the proper tools. I used literally sewing scissors, like, you know, kitchen scissors. And I had a wall clipper from Walmart that I used to give my son buzz cuts. And that's how I did my very first groom. It was a Westie. And it didn't come out that bad. Wasn't that great? But it didn't come out that bad. She was pleased, okay? Beautiful purebred Westie. And she was pleased with it. So she became my first client, and she told everybody about me. And the next thing you know, more dogs, more dogs, more dogs. Plus, I was cheap because I didn't know anything about pricing. So I set a base price for grooming, just like I had done with bathing. Even if I was bathing and blowing out a German Shepherd, it was $32. If it was a pit bull, it was $32. And then the grooming started at $45, no matter what the size. I didn't know what I was doing. And it just blew up. And I was hooked immediately after that first dog. And so here I am now, grooming now for just a few months into a year, over a year. Here I am now, and I've won several awards. My shop has, and I have. And I can't believe how far I've come in terms of grooming. So after I started grooming, I went to Hershey for the first time. I'd heard about it because I knew I needed stuff, right? I needed stuff. So I went online, like wholesale grooming supplies and stuff, and I found Groomer's Choice by accident. And I called them up and I said, here's my story. What do I need? And they set me up. They didn't like oversell me. They just said, this is the basics of what you're going to need. And so I said, okay. And I ordered it, and they sent it to me, and I was off and running and studying and studying and studying and studying. Because of course I never wanted to hurt a dog, but I needed to know what they needed. So every time I would get a new breed or a new crossbreed, new mix, a type, I'd look them up. And the first thing I would do is consult with the clients. What do you want your dog to look like? And so that's how I started my style, I guess you could say. It was just based off what they wanted. So my style was developing, but I was also learning, about bathing, prep, process, behavior, socialization, energy, tools. So much, so overwhelming. Hear about Hershey, decide to go. I bring Ruby with me because she's my service dog, and I was going alone. And I was terrified. And I get there, and I've got Rue with me, and we go into the lobby of the Hershey Resort, and she's amazing, heeled at my side, laying down, just perfectly behaved service dog. And I sign in, I go to my room, and I wanted to go walk around without her because I was just really overwhelmed, and I was alone. I'm telling you guys, I knew nothing, okay? I had no clue. I knew nothing about the grooming world, nothing about the industry, no names, no people, no faces. To me, they were just a bunch of people who like dogs and that they were there for the same reason as me. I didn't get Hershey at all. Didn't get it. Wanted to learn some stuff, signed up for some seminars. The truth is, I walked into some of those seminars, I sat down, and had no clue what the hell they were talking about. It was like I was shook. I got up and left almost every seminar. I tried to stay. I just didn't get it. I got nothing. I didn't have much money to spend. I needed shears. I knew that. I bought these 4 pairs for $100, these rainbow frickin' chunkers, and they didn't even frickin' work. They bend the hair. I didn't know that then. But, I was like, oh, it's got to be me. It's not the shears. But no, I got some of the basics, and that was it. And tried to go in the seminars. Tried. And then the first night, it was Friday night. Yeah, it had to be Friday night. No, it was Saturday night because I got there Friday. So Saturday night, first night, I was just overwhelmed. Walked her around a little bit. She was great. And then Saturday night, the lobby was full, and I was like, okay, force myself to go out and socialize. By myself, I'm going to go have a beer. I'm going to bring my dog. It's a dog show. She's a service dog. She's coming with me. Now, at my shop, I had trained Ruby in case I was drying a dog or in the back room as the door is always locked, because my street, there's 12,000 cars, literally in days that pass. It's very, very busy. and I didn't have a holding area, so my door is always locked, and nobody comes in or out without me knowing. So I trained Ruby to bark when someone pulled in case I couldn't hear, and that girl's got to bark, like a man. She's just, she's female, but woof, and people just go, oh, they do that shepherd stereotype thing. So that's one of her alerts for me, and I bring her, and she's healed, and she's perfect, but she saw a dog, and I didn't even make the connection. But she saw a dog, and she barked. Now, I walked into the Hershey fireplace area, the lodge, right where the bars are, the main hall, right, with her. So I go in with Ruby. She sees a poodle, and she barked one time. The man barked one time. Woof! And guys, the frickin' whole room went dead ass silent. Like in the movies, when all of a sudden somebody shut off the sound, everybody turned to look at me. Everybody. And I was mortified, right? Because they were looking at me like, what the hell is that dog doing in here? You need to get that dog out of here. Like, people started yelling at me. Like, and I'm like, she's my service dog. She's my service dog. And someone yells, well, clearly not. And I was like, that was an alert, and dogs bark. Tears ran out. The rest of the show, I put my hair in a ponytail, wore a hat, and kept my head down and kept Ruby in the room, except for walks. I didn't bring her back in. I was mortified. I did not want to be recognized, but I didn't go home. Well, actually, I did leave early. I left early on Sunday, for first thing Sunday morning. I didn't go home that night, but I did go out and have some beers after I brought her back to the room and changed. So I didn't want anybody to recognize me. But then the next morning on Sunday when I was walking her, there was a groomer walking a creative dog. I don't know who it was. I wish I knew. I wish I knew, because I would thank you. And I do thank you. If you remember being this person, by any chance, if you are watching this video and you are a creative groomer, and you remember this gold German Shepherd, I'm going to put a picture of her in a minute. If you remember my gold, she's a sable German Shepherd, but her color is gold. She's only got some black on her face. She's gorgeous. If you remember that dog, and you remember me, and you remember that dog barking in the middle of the lodge at Hershey, you are the one person that said to me, that was terrible. I felt terrible for you and terrible for the way that they treated you, and you shouldn't have run off like that. I didn't know what else to do. It was so sad. It really was. And so I just packed up my shit and Ruby and went home. And went back to my salon and kind of buried my head into it and went balls out learning myself. Just focusing on the business. And I can't believe how quickly it took off. I got back, and then I won an award from Home Guide, Best Grooming Salon in the county for 2018. Blown away. All my reviews were 5 stars. Then I won, then we did a Reader's Choice Award in beginning of 2019. And most of you guys know what that is, like the newspaper asked the people to vote, and I made it into the top 5. I was hugely honored, hugely, because there are some, very well-established, pricey grooming salons in my area. And it's just me, one-on-one grooming, no cages, no crates, everything's all natural, and just me learning. Baby groomer, new groomer. I can't say baby because I'm 49. It's a new groomer. And so people just kept coming, and eventually I've gotten to the point where I have clients, and my schedule is like, I'm nearly booked full. And if it weren't for the fact that I lived in a military area and people move often, I think that I wouldn't be allowed to accept any new clients. The only way that I get to accept new clients is if they violate the shop policy. Like if they cancel twice in a row, you're off the rotation. If they move, something opens up. If you no-show and don't pay the cancellation policy, you're off the rotation. So Yeah, all of my clients, I would have to say 95% of my clients are booked regularly for 4, 6, or 8 week intervals. And the 8 weeks are like shepherds, maybe. Though I have some shepherds that come in every 4 weeks. I have a Chihuahua that comes in every 4 weeks for a bath and nail trim. It's different, you know. But like I have a Saint Bernard, and he comes in twice a year. He's got a heart condition, and yes, I know you don't shave double-coated dogs, but he's got a heart condition, and his vet said he needs to be shaved. He needs the weight off of him and the heat off of him, and they keep him mostly inside now. He's old. You know, he goes for walks. She puts sunblock on him, but she asked me to shave him down twice a year, and that dog goes from panting so hard that it's scary to once he's shaved, it stops. And that's why I shaved that double-coated dog. He's the only one I do because the vet said it's the best thing for him, and I've seen it, and it is. So things like that have helped establish me. I made it into the top 5 of that Reader's Choice Awards. I did not win, but I was the 4th chosen for Southeastern Connecticut. What a freaking honor in a first-year business. Then the most recent award I won was, I don't know if you guys know the app Nextdoor. It's kind of universal. And I was voted Nextdoor favorite, again, for my county. Blown away, humbled, grateful. During this time, my grooms are getting better and better. My kids say, you know, I was posting on Facebook, and my daughter's like, you got to get on Instagram. Instagram's the shit. And I was like, okay. So I started it here and there and posted my first groom. It's all there. It's the Westie all the way at the bottom. His name is McDuff. Shout out to Marie Tyler Wiley. Thanks. And sorry I couldn't get you in last week. You got to give me notice, girl. Notice, please. So, yeah, things are great. And once I got on Instagram, I realized so much. All right, the name of my shop is Bow Wow's Dog Services. Now, Gabriel Fiatosa, his shop is, you know, inside of Bow Wow's bakery. So I think that's my first connection with an amazing, internationally well-known, award-winning groomer. I think that he was my first connection. And Instagram just started to kind of grow and grow and grow. Clients first, groomers next. And I learned more. I found Janine and Grooms by Janine. And you know she's my best friend. Her and Grooming by Melanie. And we became good friends over social media. And you know what that's like. You still do get to know each other. But the thing that amazed me was this circle that started to come together around me. And everyone was really supportive. Everyone was kind. Everybody really cared about the dogs that they groomed. Everybody really loved doing it. And I like to surround myself with like-minded people. And so Instagram started to grow. And then I find like Bardell Bows, you know, and they're amazing. And I'm like, I gotta get me some of them. And that brings my grooms up another notch. Learning from Janine, learning from Gabriel, who was like, I just met him in Hershey this year, but last year, asking him for scissoring advice, because I held my scissors just like everybody else when you're cutting paper, you know. I didn't know there was a special way to hold your scissors. And he sent me 5 videos in direct message about how to hold them, how to practice, and why you move your hands the way you do. And so I've been practicing ever since then and been saving and saving for, you know, some really awesome shears, because I see the level of the finish work, and that's where I want to get. So I know Hershey's coming up. I was trying to get to, not Super Zoo, Pet Quest. I was trying to get to Pet Quest. I have 2 children, 17 and 13. Stuff happened there. Couldn't go. Upset. Really wanted to go. But I was not going to miss Hershey. And so Jeanine and I had grown close enough that we were like, you want to share a room? She said, sure. And she didn't know Melanie. And she's like, yeah, because she didn't want to go alone. I didn't want to go alone. I wanted to save money. But also, she and I just kind of clicked, you know? This is Mr. Bing. Can you see Mr. Bing? Look, my big fat cat. He's like rotund boy. Hello. Hello. He talks. Ready? Hello. Hello. What you doing? Hello. If he were on the ground, he'd be going, oh. He mimics me. He's old. Not going to last much longer, unfortunately. I'm trying everything. Okay, so, yeah, back to Jeanine. So, I rescheduled my clients definitely in for Hershey. Saved, knew a lot more, so much more. But you never know everything. And I wanted to go and learn and take seminars because I knew it was going to be a different experience. And to have someone with me, you know, we talked about what we were going to do together, what classes and seminars, and what we weren't, what I was focused on as a business owner. She wanted to become a business owner, but I already was. I wanted to focus on finish work. She wanted to focus on learning about, you know, opening her own business. So we weren't going to be taking all the same classes together. That entirely changed once we got there because, so I didn't arrive until, oh my God, I got lost. You guys, I was supposed to get on the George Washington Bridge, and my son called in the middle of the direction thing changing, and I missed it, and I ended up in freaking Long Island, okay? So I was an hour and 45 minutes out, late. So I didn't get there till late, but I didn't want Jeanine sitting there alone, so I said, and I knew that Melanie was there, and I'm like, Melanie, go get Jeanine. And I said, this is who she is, and this is the room, go get her. So those two got together, and I was psyched. I knew that, you know, at least they weren't alone. So I get there late, and our room was horrible. I get there, and then by 3 a.m., we couldn't even tolerate the mildew in the hotel room. It was that bad. And so we asked to have our room changed. And because I have some issues with like stairs and stuff like that, and I didn't have Ruby with me, I left her home this year. Wasn't gonna do that again. Good God. Plus, I knew how busy I was going to be, and Jeanine was there if I needed anything. So, you know, I was okay. I knew I was going to be okay. So, yeah, I arrive. We switch rooms at 3 o'clock in the morning. We contemplate switching hotels because that room stunk too, like mildew and mold. It was an outside room. That's why. It's what I needed. And, you know, Bing, you're shedding. Anybody want to groom my cat? Because I've never groomed a cat. I don't groom him. I brush him. But please come groom my cat. The lady next door to me grooms cats, but I can't give her my cat because she hates me now because I'm a full-service salon and, you know, I'm her competition. But she actually stole from me a set of stairs that I ordered. Yeah, she pretended to be me and bought them. Not nice. I didn't say anything. She wants to be that way. That's fine. But she's a good groomer. I don't even know, you guys might even know her, like my grooming friends, because she used to do poodles in competition back in the day. So I have great respect for her. I have no problem with her experience or her being next door. There's plenty of room at the top for everybody as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, we get there, blah, blah, blah. Then somebody posts on the Groom Expo Facebook page that there's bed bugs at another hotel, and Jeanine and I are like, yeah, we'll deal with this smell, but not happy. Anyway, so we get there, and we wake up Thursday, class day. Boom. We go in. We both take Blake Hernandez and Macy Peace's poodle parlor. Now, Jeanine and I are really different, okay? Like, I learn best by watching, and I need to ask questions. So those of you that were there and took that class, you know I was the chick on the floor, or when he said come up and see, I was going up and seeing. But Jeanine is a little more reserved than that, and she likes to sit back and watch and take notes. And I'm the one going, oh, really, wow, like when something hit me. And so, Blake and Macy were like, Macy were like laughing at me, She's like, you need to come to all my seminars. So I'm like the dramatic one, right? But so we do this whole seminar, and then we do an Olga seminar. Olga changed my life, all right? So I go to Olga's seminar, and everything she's, well, Blake and Macy, Blake and, Macy, the way that they were teaching spoke to me like I got it, right? Which is why I was going, oh, and all that stuff. I was so excited that things were clicking. Now my dog is going to chase this big fat cat and cause a ruckus here in just a second. If you're ready for this, all right? Let's see if I can catch this for you. Oh, no, can't. Anyway, so yeah. All right, get out of my food. No. Oh, it's past supper time. Oh, it is supper time. All right. Well, so we get there. We do these seminars. We go to, Olga's seminar and Blake's seminar. We were really, really exhausted, so we did not go to the 80s party, which I regret because it looked like fun. I wish I had done that, but man, I was tired. She was tired. We was tired. Come on up. Hup. My Roo. Come. Look at my baby. All right, so if you remember this dog, this German Shepherd, gold. See how she's entirely gold? Right? If you remember that dog, that tired dog, if you remember her from Hershey, and if you were the one who said hi to me, thank you. If you were the one that yelled at me, that was not nice. You made me cry. So, Hershey 2019, what? Was an entirely different story. And I'm going to feed her and take her out. Roo, what? Yeah, see? You going to eat? You want your supper? Yeah. So, I'll be back. I might have to break this in 2 parts. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do Hershey 2018, Hershey 2019. Maybe. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so that was a long dinner break, sorry, and now it's dark, so the lighting's different. Sucks in my house. All right, so what I've decided to do is stop this video here. I think that's enough for one video sitting. You got to know a little bit about me. Let me just finish by saying I have a beautifully talented, amazingly brilliant 17-year-old daughter who's about to turn 18. She plays over a dozen instruments. She's brilliant, and she wants to go to college to be a music teacher. My son is 13. He's going to be 14, a few days after Christmas. And he is beautifully mechanically talented. The sweetest thing ever. My daughter is, unfortunately for her, a lot like me, I think. But I have an immense amount of respect for that girl. She's 17, working 2 jobs, full-time school as a high school senior, and killing it. Love her. Cannot wait to see where her life goes. My boy is going to be a freshman next year, and the world is their oyster, So I know I talked about my first year at Hershey, and I want to talk about Hershey 2019 separately because it was an entirely different experience. What a juxtaposition. 2 opposite things, 2 of the similar things, but completely opposite. So I'm going to end this video here and say, hi, I'm Jilly Moocheroni. When I was a teacher, all the kids used to call me Mooch. So that's where Jilly Mooch comes from. And it's nice to meet you. Thank you very much for bothering to take the time to hear me chat about anything. And every groomer out there, if you need help, I am here. I don't want anybody to ever feel as alone as I felt that year at Hershey, or to feel like you don't have any place safe where you can go for answers, which is why Stephanie from Canine Stylist, used to be Kennel Clippers, and Janine and I agreed, when Stephanie asked, agreed to form Groomers support page on Instagram and Facebook. So we are all here for the same reason. Jean and I are really similar, and we're on the same kind of wavelength and level in our careers, kind of in the industry. So we may do a lot of things the same, but it's different because we're different people. But that's my ride or die girl in the grooming world. I am honored to know her. I am so proud of her. I am thrilled with all the wonderful things that are happening for her and to her because of her. So if for whatever reason you don't know who she is, it's Grooms by Janine. You need to follow that girl. Her heart is pure and her drive is insane. And I love her. We're a lot alike in many different ways. If that makes sense. Let's talk about juxtaposition. So I'm going to talk about Hershey 2019 in my next video. And again, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, so I know that this matters. And if you're watching, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to send them to me. You can hit me up on my Instagram. You can hit me up on my Facebook, and I will get back to you. All right? So thank you for watching. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Julie, out.